There's a moment almost every dog owner has had, and it feels small until it doesn't. You're walking through the house, and your dog steps into your path. Not for a toy, not for food, not with barking or chaos. They just stop you. Then there's the other moment, a soft nibble on your hand, a quick nip at your sleeve, a sudden mouthy reaction that leaves you thinking, what was that supposed to mean? Most owners treat these as random habits. They usually aren't. Very often, they're part of a pattern your dog has been repeating for a reason. And once you learn how to read that pattern, your dog's behavior starts feeling less strange, less frustrating, and much more predictable. This isn't a diagnosis, but it can help you tell the difference between normal attachment and behavior that may need support. Today, don't think in terms of good dog or bad dog. Think in terms of 3 hidden layers: space, state, and strategy. Because when a dog blocks your path or uses their mouth, they are usually doing one of 3 things: managing space, revealing an emotional state, or using a behavior that has worked before. And if you stay until the end, I'll show you the fastest way to tell which one you're looking at in real life. This is Mr. Hidden Mind. We don't just watch behavior. We decode the pattern underneath it. Let's start with space. When your dog stands in a doorway, settles across a hallway, or positions themselves right where you need to move, most people ask the wrong first question. They ask, why is my dog blocking me? A better question is, what is this location doing for my dog? That shift matters. Because dogs do not experience a home the way humans do. To you, a hallway is dead space. To your dog, it may be a traffic map. Doorways, stair landings, room entrances, and narrow pathways give a dog something valuable: information. Who is moving, where they're going, what might happen next. That means some dogs are not trying to interfere with you at all. They are choosing a position that lets them monitor the house efficiently. That hallway spot may overlook the kitchen, the front door, and your workspace all at once. To a dog, that is premium real estate. So before you decide the behavior is pushy, watch the pattern. Does your dog choose the same threshold again and again? Do they seem calmer there than in other parts of the house? Do they move away easily when asked, or do they stiffen? Those details tell you whether you're looking at simple monitoring or something more emotionally loaded. And here's the practical takeaway. If the spot serves a purpose, replacing that purpose works better than simply correcting the dog. Give them a bed nearby with a clear sight line. Create a settle spot close to the action. Reward that spot consistently. Don't just remove the behavior. Replace the job the behavior was doing. Now let's move to the second layer: state. Because sometimes your dog is not controlling space. They are showing you their emotional condition through space. And this is where owners miss the story. A dog that suddenly lies in your path more often after a move, a new baby, a schedule change, a visitor, or a stressful event may not be making a power move at all. They may be looking for reassurance. For many dogs, proximity is regulating. Being near you lowers uncertainty. Watching you move tells them the day is still normal. Positioning near a doorway or walking route lets them keep track of the person they trust most. That means blocking can sometimes be a form of emotional checking. Not aggression, not attitude, not defiance. Just a dog trying to stay close to the center of safety. If that's what's happening, the better question is not, how do I stop this fast? It's, what changed before this started? That one question can save owners months of confusion, because behavior often changes after the environment changes. A different work schedule, less exercise, more noise, a second pet, a family member leaving, even subtle tension in the home. Dogs notice shifts long before people realize how much has changed. So if the blocking behavior increased recently, don't only look at the dog, look at the context. The pattern often starts there. Now here's where strategy enters the picture. Dogs are brilliant outcome trackers. They may not understand language the way humans do, but they understand what behavior produces a result. If stepping into your path makes you stop, laugh, talk, pet them, or head toward the thing they want, then your dog may have learned something very simple. Interrupting works. And once a behavior works, dogs repeat it. That is why some dogs seem to know exactly when to cut in front of you. Not because they are manipulating you in some dramatic human way, because they've learned the sequence. You stand up from your chair, you move toward the kitchen. Dinner usually follows. You walk toward the closet. The leash often appears. You head toward the bedroom. The bedtime routine begins, so your dog steps in, circles, escorts, or blocks. They are not just reacting to you. They are reacting to a chain of events they've memorized. This is one of the most useful insights for dog owners. A lot of behavior problems are really prediction problems. Your dog has learned the movie before the scene finishes, so if you want to change the behavior, don't just correct the moment. Change the sequence. Pause before the kitchen. Ask for a sit before the leash. Reward calm before opening the door. Break the pattern that has been rehearsed. When owners change the chain, dogs often change much faster than expected. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest mistakes people make with blocking behavior. They read the position, but ignore the body. And the body changes everything. A loose dog who bounces into your path, wags softly, and repositions with playful energy is telling a very different story from a dog who freezes, hard stares, stiffens, and refuses to yield. Same hallway, same placement, completely different meaning. That is why behavior should never be judged in isolation. What matters is not just where the dog is. What matters is the muscle tone, the eyes, the tail, the breathing, the timing, and what happens after you respond. This is how ordinary behavior becomes readable. And yes, there are also dogs who develop very rehearsed spatial habits because nobody has ever taught them a clear alternative. That doesn't mean the dog is trying to rule the house. It means the rule has been fuzzy. If your dog always keeps the best passageway, so never moves unless physically stepped around and has no trained cue for yielding space, then the solution is not frustration. It is clarity. Teach a simple move cue. Use it calmly. Reward it every time. Keep the standard consistent. No drama, no punishment, no stepping over the dog and secretly reinforcing the same habit. Clear cues remove a surprising amount of household friction. Now, let's connect that to the mouth, because owners often treat blocking and mouthing as separate issues. But many times they are part of the same communication system. One is about controlling access, distance, and attention through the body. The other is about finishing the message with the mouth. And if you misunderstand that difference, you can misread harmless behavior as dangerous, or worse, miss early warning signs when support is actually needed. So let's decode the second half. When a dog uses their mouth on a person, there are 4 questions that matter more than anything else. How hard? How fast? What was happening right before it? And what did the rest of the body look like? That quick scan will tell you far more than the bite alone. Let's start with the most common and the most misunderstood: arousal. A dog can go from playful to overwhelmed faster than many owners expect. You're petting them. You're hyping them up. You're wrestling a little. They're excited. Then suddenly, the mouth appears. To humans, it feels abrupt. To the dog, it often isn't. The nervous system has been climbing for several seconds already. The body got tighter. The movements got less fluid. The eyes changed. The tail may still be wagging, but the wag is no longer loose. And then the mouth steps in to end the interaction. This is why one of the smartest habits any owner can learn is to stop at the first sign of rising tension, not the final sign. If arousal is climbing, pause early. The one skill prevents a huge number of avoidable nips. Now compare that with social play. In play, many dogs use the mouth the same way humans use hands in roughhousing. It is part of the game. A loose open mouth, a play bow, bouncy movement, quick pauses, re-engagement without tension. That often points to play, not conflict. But here's the applied insight people need. Don't just say, "Don't mouth me." Give the dog a legal target, a tug toy, a grab toy, a flirt pole, a structured game with a start cue and an end cue. Because if your dog has energy in the mouth and nowhere appropriate to put it, they may use the nearest available object. That object can become your sleeve, your hand, or your pant leg. The answer is not just suppression, it's redirection with structure. Then there are the soft, calm nibbles that many owners call love bites. These usually happen in quiet moments. The dog is relaxed. The pressure is light. The rhythm is gentle. There's no frantic intensity behind it. In many cases, this looks less like aggression and more like affiliative behavior, almost a grooming-like habit around someone the dog trusts. But even here, owners need to stay honest. Gentle does not always mean you should allow it. If the behavior gets stronger, becomes hard to interrupt, or appears during overexcitement, then it may no longer be simple affection. So the smart response is simple. Reward, calm closeness. Interrupt gently. Redirect early. Don't encourage aversion you plan to dislike later. That is how small habits stay small. Now let's get into one of the most common patterns owners accidentally create: attention-seeking mouthing. This often develops in a very predictable way. The dog approaches quietly. No response. The dog paws. Still, no response. The dog escalates with the mouth, and suddenly the human reacts. Even negative attention can teach a dog that mouthing is effective. That means some dogs are not biting because they are angry. They are biting because, historically, it works faster than asking politely. The practical fix is not to wait for the mouthing and then get upset. The practical fix is to reward the better request sooner. Eye contact, a sit, a toy bring, a paw touch, a calm approach. You are teaching the dog a different sentence. And for many dogs, that changes everything. Now here is where things get serious. A dog can mouth or bite you even when you are not the real target. This is redirected arousal, and it explains a lot of those confusing out-of-nowhere nips. The dog is triggered by something else: a squirrel outside, a dog behind a fence, a delivery sound, a frustration they can't reach or resolve. The emotional pressure rises. Then the nearest moving thing absorbs the spillover: your ankle, your hand, your clothing. This can feel personal. It usually isn't. It is a dog with too much activation and no clean outlet. And this is exactly why punishing the bite alone often fails. Because you are correcting the overflow, not the pressure that built it. The real work is earlier. Reduce visual triggers, interrupt before peak arousal, move the dog away sooner. Use decompression activities. Give the nervous system a safer path out. If you only look at the teeth, you can miss the storm that arrived before them. And then there is the category owners most need to respect: warnings. Most dogs do not want to bite first. They communicate in smaller signals long before the mouth appears. Looking away, lip licking, turning the head, stillness, freezing, a hardening body, a low growl, a change in breathing. But humans are often better at noticing dramatic signs than subtle ones. That is why people say there was no warning. Very often there was. It was just quiet. This is why one question matters so much. What happened in the 10 seconds before the bite? Not just what the dog did, what the environment did. Who moved in? Who touched the dog? Whether the dog was resting. Whether food, pain, fear, restraint, or surprise was involved. That is how you move from guessing to reading. Now, if you have a puppy, some mouthing is much easier to explain. Teething. A puppy's mouth is changing fast. The gums are sore. Chewing helps. Rest is often inadequate. Excitement builds quickly. That means many puppies are not being bad. They are uncomfortable, tired, undertrained, and full of mouth-driven energy. So instead of only correcting, make the right outlet easy. Frozen chew toys. Texture variety. Shorter play. More naps. Less chaos. Less hand wrestling. A rested puppy with good chew outlets is usually very different from an exhausted puppy with sore gums and no plan. Now, let's talk about fear. Because fear-based biting is one of the most misread patterns in dogs. A dog who snaps when cornered, reached over, picked up, restrained, or forced into contact may not be trying to dominate the interaction. They may be trying to end it. And when fear drives the mouth, pressure makes the whole pattern worse. That's why the body language here matters so much. Pinned ears, tail tucked, whale eye, weight shifting away, low body posture, fast tongue flicks, reluctance to approach. Those are not bad attitude signals. Those are stress signals. And the right response is not force. It is safety, predictability, distance, and trust building. Let the dog move away. Use gradual exposure. Reward voluntary engagement. Avoid making contact feel like a trap. A dog that believes escape is possible often has much less need to defend themselves. There is also a very instinctive reason some dogs nip at feet, sleeves, or moving bodies. Chase drive. Motion is activating. Fast movement invites pursuit. Swinging fabric can trigger grabbing. Turning away can trigger following and contact. This doesn't automatically mean something is wrong with your dog. It means your dog may have natural motor patterns that need a safe place to go. And this is where many owners miss a huge opportunity. Instead of trying to erase instinct, channel it. Tug with rules, fetch with release, flirt pole with impulse control. Scent games to drain mental energy. Training games that slow the brain before speed takes over. Your goal is not to flatten the dog's wiring. Your goal is to guide it. And finally, the reason every owner should take seriously: pain. If your dog has recently started mouthing or biting in one specific context, especially when touched, lifted, groomed, or approached in a particular area, pain needs to be considered early. A sore ear, dental pain, a tight back, skin irritation, nail pain, a joint issue, internal discomfort. Dogs often hide pain until contact forces the issue. Then the mouth becomes the clearest message they have left. This is not a time to assume disobedience. This is a time to look closer. If the behavior is new, stronger, more focused, or linked to touch, movement, appetite, withdrawal, or changes in daily routine, getting professional support matters. Because sometimes what looks like a behavior problem is really a discomfort problem in disguise. And that brings us to the most important point in this entire video. Your dog's behavior is not just something to stop. It is something to interpret. When your dog blocks your path, the real question is not, how do I get rid of this? It is, what is this behavior doing for my dog right now? When your dog mouths you, the real question is not, was that good or bad? It is, what state was my dog in before that happened? And what outcome has this behavior produced before? That is the shift. From reacting to reading. From labeling to observing. From frustration to understanding. And here is the fastest real-life test I promised you. The next time your dog blocks you or mouths you, check these 4 things in order. First, the body. Loose or tense? Second, the trigger. What happened right before it? Third, the pattern. Is this part of a routine, a repeated location, or a repeated emotional setup? Fourth, the consequence. What usually happens after your dog does it? That 4-step scan will tell you more than the behavior alone ever will. Not perfectly, not instantly, but enough to stop guessing and start seeing. If this video helped you understand your dog more clearly, subscribe to Mr. Hidden Mind. Because on this channel, we don't stop at what behavior looks like. We go underneath it, into the pattern, into the emotion, into the hidden logic most people miss. Until next time, don't just correct the surface, look deeper. There's usually a hidden mind behind the behavior.